This is the Big Deal Podcast, brought to you and powered by New Covenant Baptist Church in Albertville, Alabama. And on this podcast, we're asking the question, what's the big deal about all things Bible, theology, and culture? I'm Justin.
I'm Brad.
Welcome to the Big Deal. Hey, man, back at it for season 2.
Season
This
2.
is the beginning of a new era on the podcast, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, we're... if you're listening to the last one, we explained we're going to be starting something new in our second season. We did 52 episodes going through the Torah, the Pentateuch, 52 of them.
And every single one of them, gold.
Gold standard, platinum.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's just beautiful works of art.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to do something different. We're kind of tired of going through books of the Bible so we're going to do something different. We're going to do some topical stuff.
I think Justin just said we're tired of the Bible.
I said something close to that.
What's the matter with you, man?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
That's the really big
Yeah.
What is the matter with me?
What's wrong with you?
I wish I knew the answer to that.
Yeah.
Steph also wishes she knew the answer to
Yeah,
that.
I know.
But no one knows.
That's what everybody's asking.
Right? What is wrong with Justin? And we're going to do some different stuff. We're going to have these mini-series. That's the way I'm thinking of it. And maybe there'll be a season under their own, each one of them, but they won't be like a full year, you know. But
We don't know, really.
we really don't know what we're doing ever.
We can do whatever we want.
This is our podcast.
Yeah.
It's my party, and I can cry if I want to.
Facts.
Yeah, and so the first mini-series we're going to do is a series on eternity, eternal things that span the ages, right?
Forever.
Forever.
And ever.
Yeah, that's right. And so within this mini-series, we're going to have topics like hell and heaven,
Yeah.
the eternal states. We're going to talk about the apologetics involved in those things and justice and all sorts of that kind of stuff, right? Eternity is the idea here. And to start us off, we are going to talk about hell.
Right. We're bad news first kind of people.
We are bad news first kind of people, and
Yeah.
you know, I think it's one of the most important theological topics in our day and age.
I think important as far as maybe curiosity and teaching and thinking about it is not as important in theological triage.
That's right. Yeah.
You can be wrong about hell and be a Christian.
Well,
So,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like at the same level as like Trinity and
or
stuff. What I mean
nature of God
is
or the
that
gospel, but like
when it comes down to like conversations that you have with people that are Christian curious and trying to, or maybe they're Christians and they have hard questions about their faith, hell is inevitably on the list. And it's because there's tons of reasons.
Yeah.
All the caricatures and pride involved, right? You know what I mean?
and fear.
And fear.
It's,
Yep.
Well, there's a. Yeah, I would say on this topic, people have been taught a lot about hell, but not very exegetically.
Yeah, that's
There's
right.
some, people have some very firm ideas about what they think about hell, but haven't really looked to see what the Bible says about hell.
That's true. I would say the most influential piece of literature on hell for the default position of American in the South, our circle, right, is Dante's Inferno. More than the scriptures themselves.
You think that's where it comes from?
Yes, absolutely. Well, medieval is what it comes from.
Yeah.
Medieval depiction. So
Which-
what is
but-
hell
but-
to like the average
Yeah,
person?
Dante's Inferno though is like really strange. There's
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, but what I mean is like levels.
yeah,
Where'd that come from, right?
Yeah.
But he picked that up, but it's persisted because of his literature. Satan, his presence as being in charge of hell. You know, most people believe that Satan is in charge of hell.
yeah. He's not.
He's not.
He's going there as a
it's
client.
his place of torment,
Punishment,
right?
yeah.
It's more his place of torment than it is yours in a sense,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, not yours,
mine.
or not yours either.
Wait a
people.
minute, wait a minute.
What is wrong with Justin? That's the
Man.
question. So we're gonna be talking about hell today, and maybe next week too. And here's how I want us to do it. I got a roadmap here for us. First, we're going to talk about what it is. what hell is and how the Bible talks about hell.
So the hardest part first.
Well, it just making definitions,
What is it?
Yeah, like we need, you have to have your terms defined. And that is a big problem, actually, with this topic in the Bible.
Because there's four terms.
Yeah. And the King James translated all of them as hell.
Yes.
Which is said it was a big problem for a long time because of that. So that's what we're going to start. We'll start with the terms and what hell is.
It still is a big, well,
It still
what
is.
to do translationally.
We'll get there. Yeah. And after that, we're going to talk about the why of hell and the justice of it and the apologetics involved in it.
That's
and stuff.
good.
So we're going to start with what it is. And let's talk about that. So just like the nature of language in hell is funky because you have the King James Bible 1611 translated all of the four different words that are used throughout the Old and New Testament all as hell.
Four different words. It depends. I kind of lean towards five, but four different words. So in the Old Testament you have Sheol.
Yep.
And then they introduced in the Septuagint, which is the Greek version of that, the Hades. Yeah, it looks like Hades.
Yeah.
And then in the New Testament, you have Gehenna.
Mm-hmm.
You have Tartarus mentioned once in 2 Peter. And then Lake of Fire.
Yeah.
Which
it's
like sort of five. The reason it's sort of cheating to say five because technically Hades is a translation of Sheol, but still it's Septuagint. It was very influential.
Yeah. And Lake of Fire is more like a bucket.
Yeah,
that contains like a lot of phrases that talk about the same thing.
But it is a place.
It is a place, though. Yeah.
More than so, Jesus talks about it being a fiery place.
Yeah.
But he doesn't say lake of fire, like name it.
Yeah. And all of these words for the longest time were just translated hell, right? And the funny thing about the word hell is not in the Bible. Hell is an English word.
It is.
It's a translation.
Which came from
comes from
Norse mythology.
It's Helheim.
Yeah, Helheim.
Right. So Helheim is it's the equivalent of Hades or something in Greek mythology.
One of the most mind-boggling things I think maybe
Pluto.
for a Christian to think about is that almost every concept of hell you have comes from pagan terminology.
It does.
Yeah.
It's appropriation.
And
this is a wild thing. The Bible is fine appropriating.
Yeah.
It has no God had no problem appropriating themes and ideas from other cultures and paganism to make a point for his people.
I don't want to get too far ahead, but I think Tolkien and C.S. Lewis would be right on these things.
Yeah.
That the reason that these pagan stories of hell are accurate is because there's a true myth underneath it.
Yeah, explain that a little bit more. That's a great way to talk about that.
So
the question is this. The question is this.
Yeah.
Why is it okay for the New Testament to use the word Hades, Tartarus, and Sheol from the Old Testament?
I should have clarified.
And for us to translate it hell.
So should have clarified. The New Testament in the original manuscript says Hades.
It says in
because
Greek,
they're
Hades.
quoting from the Septuagint.
Yeah.
Right. So they use the word. It's not just a translation, but it would be part of what we would say is the inspired text now.
Yeah.
So why can they use it? Well, Tolkien led C.S. Lewis to Christ. He was one of the ways that he came to Christ. And so one of the things that C.S. Lewis was talking to Tolkien about is how interesting it was to him that how often myths are repeated throughout various cultures without contact.
Yeah.
It's, you have all these stories of the prince who came from rags to riches to save the day. You have the hero's journey epic is everywhere. The idea of the dragon that comes everywhere that has to be slain.
Yeah.
These things pop up across cultures. And these guys were literature dudes at Oxford.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what they got paid to think about, right? And so he's walking along with Tolkien, and Tolkien says, well, the reason I believe this happens is because there is a true myth from which these stories are all born. And that's how he wrote The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Is that there is a true myth, and by myth he doesn't mean it didn't happen. He means it is a story with explanatory power for a culture.
Yeah.
And so the true myth that undergirds all of this is the biblical account of things.
Yes.
And
yeah.
so the reason that you have things like Helheim and Hades and Tartarus popping up throughout pagan literature and culture and myth is because there's a real place down there. Or if you want to say down there.
Yeah.
That is true.
Mhm.
And so it's sort of part of the collective conscious of general revelation, you might say.
Yeah.
And so the reason that the Bible, you might say, can use it is because there are things about Hades and Helheim and Tartarus that are true.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't bother the Lord to use it because it's part of the dissemination of his revelation into various cultures. Like, hey, there's a judgment when you die.
Yeah.
There's a place you're going to go.
Yeah.
Life doesn't end here.
Yeah.
All of these
I mean,
things.
it's a similar thing to say that there are people who are not Christians that can teach you about loving someone well, loving your neighbor or something, right? Of course, people get it right, in other places. Why do they get it right? It's because of the echo of that true myth, of the truth, right? That is persisting in the collective human conscience, right?
The fact that there is a God or an afterlife or all of these things.
All of them, yeah.
It's sort of like you get those, you know about this stuff. You can get a tuning fork and you can strike it and it will ring a tuning fork across the room because of the sound waves, because they're on the same note.
Yeah.
That's what happens. So the true myth of the scripture is the tuning fork. And all of these little snippets of truth you find everywhere else is the resonance from the true story.
Yeah, and that's not to say that those other religions are salvific or are right about everything. They're most certainly not.
No, because the devil
Christ.
likes to twist it.
Yeah.
The best lies are founded in a little bit of truth.
Yeah.
So that you can kind of stick to the believable part and then you just kind of crank it a little bit.
So that's not to say we're not like universalists in that at all. In any sense of the word.
But the golden rule, for example,
Okay.
pops up across all cultures.
The Ten
and
Commandments.
Ten Commandments.
The Ten Commandments are.
We have a general
picked
idea
up,
you shouldn't steal or sleep with your sister. That comes from somewhere.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, for sure. And so that there's this problem though that as like a modern reader of the Bible, whether you've been in Scripture for a long time or a little bit of time, that these words have been conflated because of translation, because of the King James Bible.
Yeah, it's a shame.
And it is. There's differences.
Because there's different what Sheol means and what Gehenna means aren't not the same thing.
Well, and so let's talk about it. Let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
Let's start with Sheol. Right, Sheol. It's Sheol or Sheol. Which way
I don't
do you
know.
go?
I've
Sheol.
only read it, so
It's Sheol.
Yes,
right? Is in your more modern translations, like the CSB, will just transliterate Sheol.
Yeah,
They're not going to translate it for you because of this issue that's kind of persisted. So they're just going to say Sheol, and we got some references.
Sometimes you'll have it translated the grave. Sheol will get translated the grave.
In other I would say other translations outside CSB.
Yeah,
they seem to have like a thing, like we're only saying Sheol. But I think like New American might go grave sometimes, or ESV or something.
Yeah,
that's what it means though.
Yeah,
right. And so that's the definition for Sheol.
It's the grave.
Yeah, it's the dirt.
Yeah,
the under place, because what happens when you die?
You go back to dust.
You get buried, right? And you get put in a cave or something, and it's dark there, and it's dirty there, right? And so here's some references. Let's go to. We'll start. I think that.
Sheol. Oh, I should say
go ahead.
because you'll figure this out as you read it. It pops up in the Psalms a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always a place of judgment. Like good people go to Sheol. It seems
in the Old Testament, it's like everyone goes
there. Right? Yeah. Because it's reference of the Messiah.
Yep. So the first reference you have to Sheol is in Genesis. It's in Genesis 37. It says, all his sons and daughters tried to comfort him, But he refused to be comforted. No, he said, I will go down to Sheol to my son mourning. His father wept for him. So
That's Jacob thinking that Joseph is dead.
that's right.
Yeah.
And so it's the grave, and
Yeah.
it's Sheol, and he's going. This is the patriarch,
Yeah.
right? And his son,
He thinks Joseph is there,
yeah, who
and
is
that he's going there.
yeah, that's right. And so he's there. The destination for everybody seems to be this, right? Comes up a couple more times in Genesis, and it's the same kind of thing, right? And 44, for example, if you also take this one from me, and if anything happens to him, you will bring my gray hairs down to Sheol in sorrow, right? In Numbers, it's. But if the Lord brings about something unprecedented and the ground opens its mouth and swallows them along with all that belongs to them so that they go down alive into Sheol
Yeah.
because the ground has split open
Yeah.
and they go down into the dirt,
Yeah.
right, into the ground. So these are the first examples of Sheol, and it's all over. This isn't like a word
And
that's
up to
used
this
sparsely.
point, there is no other word
That's
used
it.
for what happens when someone dies.
This is it's just the death.
You just are dead.
You don't find out anything else about death and afterlife for, man, is if you're tracking the
Maybe
progress
Daniel.
of Revelation, I would say possibly David, that little glimpse with his son.
Yeah, but he uses Sheol
He
there
does,
too.
yeah. I would say, yeah, the prophets, during the time of the prophets, there seems to be the Lord begins to spread some new revelation out to
Yeah.
them about the afterlife. You get a resurrection in Isaiah.
Yes, of the just and unjust.
And Daniel. Both of
But
them.
it doesn't say like the place. And you get glimpses in Daniel of the kingdom of God, but it's coming to fill the earth. So the idea of heaven is not we're going somewhere else.
That's a New
it's that
Testament
heaven
thing.
is coming here,
Yeah.
and that's Daniel.
Yeah, going up.
We're gonna
to
talk about heaven,
Yeah,
too.
That's a next.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's a New Testament idea. Like the Old Testament is pretty standard. It's Sheol is the grave, and that's where people go when they die. But there is this resurrection that's coming too.
Yes.
That happens, and we'll get to the resurrection next time. Here's another one. This is Isaiah 14. So this is like some of the stuff that you would pick up as the prophets get going. Sheol below is eager to greet your coming, stirring up the spirits of the departed for you. All the rulers of the earth, making all the kings of the nations rise from their thrones. Right? This is talking about, I guess, the king of Babylon or something. It's this place where lots of other people, the spirits are.
There are
and
spirits
stuff.
down
Yeah,
there.
it's almost like a spiritual place, you know.
Yeah.
And similar to how heaven is a spiritual place. There's Ecclesiastes 9. Whatever your hands find to do with all your strength, because there's no work, planning, knowledge, or wisdom in Sheol where you are going. So I think like what I would say is like you're building like this idea of the afterlife as a place of waiting around, and nothing real is happening there. Nothing important seems
It's
to be
like a
happening
hangout
there. It is.
area.
Yeah, there's no work planning. It's just the place of the dead.
And no punishment or reward.
It doesn't seem like there's anything like that.
Because David often not complains, but he's like, Lord, if you let me go down to Sheol, nobody praises you down there.
Yeah.
Let me live and praise you a little longer.
Yeah. Yep. And it's just a way to talk about death. Death seemed a bit more final to them than it does to us, since we have the teachings of Christ and everything.
Yeah, final or like,
Dot.
Like we
Yeah.
don't know what to think about it.
Yeah.
Almost
It's-
because they believed in spirits. We know that.
Yeah.
We know that from Samuel
Oh goodness, Samuel
'cause
coming up from
the grave.
Yeah.
It's the
And he's
witch
like
of
kind
Endor.
of like upset about it.
Yeah, he's like, I was sleeping down here,
Yeah.
man. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
If it was really Samuel,
We don't know. I don't
It's
know.
just a
what to
really
do with
weird
that.
story. But what we can say is that people had the expectation
Yeah.
that spirits were around,
Yeah.
but they just don't talk about it that much.
No.
In the Bible. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
And so most of the Old Testament concept,
Mhm.
as far as it being a place, is just like Sheol, It's the grave.
It's the grave. If you're more interested about this, like some tools out there could help you, like ChatGPT could help you a lot with this. You could ask ChatGPT, um, give me all the references for Sheol in the Christian Standard Bible.
Yeah.
And you're going to get what, I don't know, probably 70 of them, maybe something like 66. There's 66
Yeah.
results.
And a lot of that's going to be in the Psalms.
Yeah,
in
a lot of them
Psalms.
are Psalms. Yeah. And you're going to read through them, and that's what you're going to realize is like, this is just all about death. And if you were to do this for the King James Bible and look up hell for all these references, one of the wildest things is how your perception will change.
Yeah.
Because you carry some baggage with the word hell.
Yes.
And so you're going to, every time you'll look at like the Genesis passage, right? I will go down to hell to my son mourning.
Is that what it says in King James?
I don't know
I think
where
it
they
probably
go.
says grave.
Do you think
there.
they went
what,
grave?
What is it? 44?
Yeah, the King James. That's 3735.
Let's see. I happen to have mine right here. 37 what?
35. What does it say?
And all his sons and daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted and said, "For I will go down into the grave unto my son mourning."
Okay.
Yeah, so when it applied to a patriarch, they changed it to grave.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But everyone else gets hell.
But everyone else gets hell.
That's funny. Wow.
Yeah, so they often translated it grave.
Yeah.
The King James Version of the Bible is the goat that all other translations forever in English have to deal with.
That's true. Yeah.
And so that's what's going on.
Yeah. There are translation committees for like new translations. Like it is their struggle against the King James Bible that causes so many problems.
100%.
Because many of these very important passages are memorized, and they're memorized in King James Version.
And not only memorized, have a freight train of baggage.
Yeah.
In the beginning, God created what?
The heavens and the earth.
Heavens and the earth. Yeah.
Right.
You can't say sky and land now.
That's right.
But
Even
it
though
said
it's,
sky
it's
and
sky
land.
and land.
Sky and land.
But John
they
3:16 one
made
is the
it bigger.
famous one
Yeah.
too. There are lots of these issues that throughout the scriptures.
Wait, what was the John 3:16 one? What's that from?
Whosoever believe
Oh,
in
yeah,
him.
yeah. I thought you were talking about
all the believing ones.
I'm a big only begotten guy. I think they should have left
that's
that.
a similar.
They should have left that.
That was a good one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we should stop saying unique. It makes me want to jump through a paper.
Is that what the CSB does? Is the unique?
Yeah,
I can't
or
remember.
one and only.
One and only. I think it's one and only.
Yeah, it's not what it means. It means begotten.
Begotten, not made.
Yes,
that's important.
Yes, you don't know what everybody's fussing about in 325 if you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
And those guys spoke Greek.
They did.
They understood it as begotten. Whenever Athanasius Contra Mundum is going on in the 300s, he didn't go, "Wait, guys, this whole thing that Arius is saying, Athanasius against the world." Anyway, everybody had become a bunch of Arians, and what that meant is that Jesus was created being, and they got it from the word begotten.
Yeah,
and so instead of if all the church fathers had not understood it as begotten, all they had to say was, "Guys, this just means unique."
Yeah,
they never make that argument.
They don't.
They always say begotten, not made.
Yep.
So
begotten,
it was
not made.
They would roll over in their church father graves if they saw we kept putting this as unique and one and only. I mean, come on, man.
So there we go. We have Old Testament hell.
Yes,
hell with my I got square quotes.
Sheol.
Scare quotes. Yeah. Sheol. It's the death. It's just the grave.
You're going to the grave.
Yeah, everyone gets
in the OT.
Yeah, you're going to return to dust in the OT.
But we should say there are these ideas scattered throughout the Old Testament. It's not as if they didn't believe in an afterlife, because they talk about going down to the spirits. They talk about the resurrection of the righteous and the unrighteous.
Yes.
The book of Ecclesiastes talks about your spirit being bound to you with a cord, and that when the cord is broken, that your spirit will return to God who gave it.
Yep.
And so there were these ideas that you went somewhere when you died. It wasn't an annihilation or a absolute loss of being or conscience.
And I should say too, like maybe it's hard to tell towards the end of the period of the Old Testament. It's because you just get some of these Psalms that Sheol becomes negative. it starts like picking up a negative connotation.
Mm.
You have like Psalm 9, the wicked will return to Sheol, all the nations that forget God. Like, and so
Yeah.
this is now something we're going to apply.
Yeah,
You know, but then you have other stuff.
but we see this if we hop into New Testament. So you got to think about the people who are speaking in the Gospels are still living in the Old Testament, so to speak. There's no New Testament for them to have read.
Exactly.
So the theologies they're saying in the Gospel about hell must have come from the Bible or tradition.
Yeah.
And they make it so one of the interesting ones to me is the rich man and Lazarus story.
Are we ready to hop to the New Testament?
If you are,
let's do New Testament.
Okay.
So,
well, I'm not sure. We'll say Gospels. They are the New Testament, but we're still doing Old Testament theology. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
Because they haven't read Paul.
Yeah.
They haven't read Revelation. They haven't read anything.
Yeah.
So when when Jesus is throwing out these parables, he is basing it like, you should understand what I'm saying because we have a shared culture and a shared understanding.
Yes. Yeah.
When he told this parable of the rich man and Lazarus, they weren't like, what?
Yeah.
They weren't like, what is he talking about?
So let's go Gospels
Okay.
now. So
Okay.
you fast forward, I don't know, skip over the intertestamental period,
Of about
400 years.
400 years or so.
And we're in the Gospel. Jesus is teaching around Galilee.
Yeah, this is 400 years after the Italian prophet Malachi.
What in the world?
It was Malachi. He was the last
Malachi. That's so funny. I did not get that.
Yeah.
So Jesus talks more about hell and provides such, it's like, I don't know, such a leap forward in theology for hell and heaven. Again, scare quotes on that. We'll talk about that next time when we get there. He provides a huge leap forward in the theology of these
leap
things.
forward for us, dear readers.
Yeah.
But for those listeners of his day, they don't seem to be shocked by it.
No, they don't.
And there's lots of stuff going on in Jesus' day that should be interesting to us, but we're reading it like a book, right? We read like if it'd be a 2-part novel maybe, or maybe 3. So part 1 is Old Testament, part 2 is Jesus, and then part 3 is epistles and following.
Yeah.
But so one of the things that goes on is Jesus starts talking about hell or judgment or Hades in ways that nobody stops him and goes, wait, I'm not so concerned about rich man and Lazarus. Well, what were you saying about this Abraham's bosom stuff?
That's right.
Like they
know.
They know. The other thing is they're looking for a Messiah.
Yeah.
A messianic
yes.
expectation is huge in the first century.
And when he starts talking about judgment and fire and all that kind of stuff, they're not saying, how could God do something? They're saying,
well, yeah.
They're saying, why are you talking to me about that?
Yeah.
I'm a Pharisee.
Yeah.
Right. It's about the target of Jesus's discussion, not about like what he's talking about, you know?
Yeah.
They're offended because they're children of Abraham.
Right.
You know?
Right. So do you want to go with words first? Or you want to talk about some places
Let's start with the words used in the Gospels
by Jesus.
Almost all of the references are the Gospels.
Yeah,
and so
Matthew 5.
So the first one is Hades, right?
Hades,
and so that's like as you said, that's the Septuagint translation of Sheol, right? So if you're reading the Old Testament in Greek, which they did because everyone was Hellenized. Which
there was a big fuss in the early church as to whether our translational document for the Old Testament should be the Septuagint or the Hebrew Bible, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Of course, we ultimately rightly went with the Hebrew.
Yeah,
scriptures.
It took time though.
It did.
Yeah,
and one of the big arguments from the church fathers who were pro Septuagint was, look, this is what the apostles were quoting.
Yeah,
they were quoting the Septuagint.
They were. Yeah.
And so, anyway, that's a whole nother discussion.
But they translate Sheol as Hades.
Hades, which is a Greek pagan concept of afterlife.
Yeah, it's similar.
It's similar to Sheol. It's like,
but there's more going. They have more stories.
Yes,
right. There are more Greek stories, and of course Roman applied to it too.
The work of Hades is actually a lot more similar to Dante. Dante took his cues from the Greek understanding of Hades, these levels of hell and different things going on there, different kinds of punishments for different kinds of offenders.
Yeah.
You know,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that there's an overlord.
Yes.
Because who's the overlord in Hades?
Hades
Hades himself,
is
right?
named for him. Yeah.
And so Satan is like applied for that,
Hmm.
to in Dante and
And in
in
Dante, you
medieval
can get
stuff.
out of there. In some
Yeah, that's
places, you
right.
can get
Yeah,
out. You
yeah,
can. There's levels of hell that you can make it out.
yeah,
They ring a bell every
yeah,
time it happens, and
yeah.
like somebody shoots out of Hades and goes
Yeah,
to heaven.
they were
Purgatory is
what?
kind of in there
Yeah,
a little bit.
what's the word? They were re what's the word that we? This is how we treat prisons today
Oh,
and
I know.
jails.
I know what you're saying. Why can't
Starting our
rehabilitate? Yeah,
rehabilitated. Yeah,
rehabilitate. Yeah,
that's what purgatory is.
yeah.
To the
Rehabilitation.
Catholics. Yeah,
That's a whole. We probably should think about.
we
purgatory.
actually should talk about purgatory, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Let's finish hell first.
Let's finish hell first.
Yeah.
And so you have Hades, and this is a word Jesus uses. And one of the best examples of this is the parable in Luke about the rich man and Lazarus.
Yes.
And so what's the passage there? Do you got that?
I don't have
Yeah,
it pulled
I'll
up.
pull it up here. It's Luke 16.
Oh, I was going to say 11. I'd have missed
19.
it by 5.
I'll read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was a rich man who would dress in purple and fine linen, feasting lavishly every day. But a poor man named Lazarus, covered with sores, was lying at his gate. He longed to be filled with what fell from the rich man's table, but instead the dogs would come and lick his sores. One day the poor man Lazarus died and was carried away by the angels to Abraham's side, or bosom in King James.
Yeah.
Right? The rich man also died and was buried. And being in torment in Hades, this is the word, the Greek is Hades, right? It's just transliterated. He looked up and saw Abraham a long way off with Lazarus at his side. "Father Abraham," he called out, "have mercy on me and send Lazarus to dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, because I am in agony in this flame." "Son," Abraham said, "remember that during your life you received your good things, just as Lazarus received bad things. But now he is comforted here, while you are in agony. Beside all this, a great chasm has been fixed between us and you, so that those who want to pass over from here to you cannot, neither can those from there cross over to us." "Father," he said, "then I beg you to send him to my father's house, because I have 5 brothers, to warn them, so they won't also come to this place of torment."
Mm-hmm.
But Abraham said, "They have Moses and the prophets. They should listen to him." "No, Father Abraham," he said, "but if someone from the dead goes to them, they will repent." But he told them, if they don't listen to Moses and the prophets, they will not be persuaded if someone rises from the dead. Right? It is a fascinating. It's a parable, right? Kind of.
Well, that's so. Okay,
That's the question.
A
isn't it?
parable. A parable is a made up, not made up story like you're telling lies, but it is a story to give a moral lesson. Is what we do a parable. So you might think the most famous parable is probably the prodigal son.
Yeah.
Right. Does that mean
The
it
Good
never
Samaritan.
happened? Well, maybe it did happen. Jesus could be using these could be
Yeah.
real people,
Yeah.
but they don't have to be. But
Yeah.
they might be.
Yeah.
So it's a parable.
Yeah.
Is it based in a true life story? Maybe.
We don't know.
We don't know. So
There are a couple interesting things though to it that
Wait.
make it like wait, it's like double take.
yes.
One is Abraham's bosom, his
Yeah.
side. Where does that come from? In the Gulf.
Yeah. So one of the things to think about. So in the Old Testament, it talks about all the dead going into Sheol.
Yeah.
So or the grave.
Yeah.
Just say Sheol and quit doing that. So it says Sheol,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's like, well, it seems like everybody goes there.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion. Okay, I'm 57% sure
Mm-hmm.
around this. It seems like Sheol is a word for the place where Abraham was and the place where the rich man winds up.
Yeah.
That all that is the grave.
That's all Hades.
Yeah,
Sheol.
because
Yeah.
they can see each other
Yeah.
and talk to each other.
Yeah.
But there's a gap, a chasm.
A chasm.
Something is
Yeah.
there where you can look and see, but you can't get there.
Yeah.
And this goes all the way out to Revelation. And we can talk about that.
We'll get
This
there.
idea of you're in the same place, but you're not in the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
It's like Mufasa.
yeah.
You know, when he holds up Simba and he's like, or when they're on that thing, he's like, you see that shadowy place over there, Simba? Don't
Yeah.
go over there. Our
Yeah,
realm is
yeah.
up here, but don't go down there. You can see it from here.
Yeah.
But, buddy, don't go down there. That's where the hyenas live.
Additionally, this story, it's like it adds things from other situations or maybe future situations back into it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what makes me think it's more like a parable because there's flame,
There's
torment and flame, and you have the gulf, or the chasm. You have the conscious talking back and forth thing.
Right.
Where in the Old Testament it seems like it's just
gone.
you don't do anything
Yeah,
there,
yeah, it's
right?
like
It's
hanging out.
It's just
in a
over,
waiting
right?
room.
Right now,
Like
it's a
you're
waiting room.
you're in a doctor's office.
Spiritual. It's just nothing's happening here. But it seems like things are happening here.
You're in that station that Harry Potter was in when he talked to Gandalf.
yeah,
Wait,
that's
no, it wasn't
right.
Gandalf. That's Dumbledore.
Oh
That was on purpose. Yeah.
That's so funny.
You know the reason that Gandalf and in Dungeons and Dragons you got Elminster, you've got Gandalf, you've got Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Why does that guy keep showing up all across the literature? The wise old
the sage. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
That's the myth, right? The
Yeah.
true myth. Who's
Yeah.
who's Gandalf? Who's he? Who is he the allegory of?
I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
a joke. That's a Tolkien
Tolkien hated
nerdy
allegory.
literature joke.
Yeah.
How boring.
Yeah, he said I don't believe in allegory, and then he went on to write one.
Yeah.
But even though he would say it wasn't.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Gandalf was Jesus, by the way, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
I just kidding.
Tolkien said he was an angel.
Yeah.
I thought Aragorn was Jesus.
Oh yeah.
All of these, they're hitting the chord.
Yeah.
They're hitting those chords.
So
but anyway,
you go to this passage. It's wild.
that passage, that parable of the rich man and Lazarus is super wild.
Yeah.
There's so many reasons. One is he can look up there and see it. We know that he's in torment, but he's sane.
Yes.
Like you would think, if you threw me into hot lava or like a burning hot fire,
Yeah.
I'm not having a conversation with you.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going
yeah.
to be just screaming and hollering. And I
Yeah.
think people have this idea of hell is you are in a flaming hot 500-degree place, your skin's boiling, and you're just screaming in agony all
Yeah.
the time. But the picture we get of hell or wherever the rich man is in this is totally sane.
Yeah.
But he's in torment. He's thirsty.
He's not enjoying his.
No, he's
his
like,
time.
oh. He's also still kind of a turd.
He's terrible.
He's a
still.
horrible person still.
It is not
You
rehabilitated.
get a little
him. Yeah.
sympathy for him because he's like, oh, go tell my brothers. But he's like, go make Lazarus tell my brothers. It's like,
Yes.
why are you still
well, first
trying?
send Lazarus to me
Yeah,
into
what-
this terrible place.
Leave Lazarus alone,
Yeah,
dude.
That man had a hard time. As
He
it
was outside your gate and the dogs were licking
Never
his
helped
sores.
him.
Never helped him.
And also it's just tell them don't come here, right? Like
Don't come
It's
here.
not like he has the answer for how they could not come here.
Yeah, just tell him. Yeah.
Just don't come here.
Yeah, the one. So, but there's some subtle things about hell too. We might say you can agree or disagree. A loss of identity. Lazarus is named. The rich man is not.
Yeah, the Bible does that.
For the wicked.
The wicked never gets named usually.
Yeah, a loss of identity. I'm not. So who they are
Yeah.
gets lost.
Yeah.
Which goes back to the image of God and failing to be that.
Yeah.
Is you lose that.
Yeah.
You there's a gulf fixed between us. Abraham can talk to him, and Lazarus ain't going over there.
Yeah. And so that's Hades.
Oh, and the whole
Yeah.
foreshadowing of
Yeah.
even if somebody comes back from the dead, they're not going to listen.
Yeah, that's
Because
right.
Jesus comes back from the dead.
I know,
and they don't
right?
listen.
How about that?
Yeah.
So that's Hades. Now, Hades is supposed to be the same as Sheol. Now, the thing about this parable is it might be transporting some future things about the final state of the wicked, which is not Hades, Sheol. It might be transporting some of those things back because Jesus is just teaching about some things, right?
Yeah.
His point in this story is not to teach you about what hell is like.
No, it's that the people don't listen.
That's right. People, they don't listen.
Yeah.
And so that's the actual point.
Mm-hmm.
And so having the torment be there and the consciousness be there, those might be, and also Abraham having this okay spot.
Mm-hmm.
Those might be some future things just kind of inserted in this story. And so Hades' Sheol might not really look like that. We don't know. It could. It totally could.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really fit the rest of the narrative with what we hear about Sheol in Hades, right? Would you agree?
Well, some of it does. It's so hard.
Yeah.
So if we move on to Jesus,
Mhm.
when he starts talking about judgment,
Mhm.
oh, this is hard. So is Jesus talking about, when he talks about judgment, the place where the rich man is and Abraham is, or is he talking all the way in the future after judgment?
That's right. And so
Yeah.
this is the problem. So let's talk about the rest of the words in the New Testament.
okay.
Because this is what gets confusing, folks, is you have Hades talked about in a general sense, which is the analog for Sheol. But then in the New Testament, Jesus also talks about a place called Gehenna.
Mm-hmm.
And he also has another bucket of ideas that talk about the lake of fire, a fiery place, eternal fire,
gnashing of teeth.
Yeah.
The worm doesn't die.
In
The fire doesn't go out.
Yeah, in Revelation, it's called the lake of fire.
Yeah.
And
Which might be which I
Is
think is a
different
different thing than Sheol.
it is
Yeah.
because Hades is thrown into the lake of fire.
Yeah. So what we know, okay, let's do the Old Testament timeline. You die, you go to Sheol.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's the place where Abraham, rich man, and Lazarus are.
Yeah.
Okay. We know from Daniel there is a resurrection of the righteous and the wicked.
Yeah.
And then there is a judgment.
Yeah.
And then hell.
That's right.
What we would probably think hell or heaven.
The eternal judgment.
Eternal state.
The eternal state.
So
of
you might
of the
think of
wicked.
the grave or Sheol as that place where people, even Abraham,
Yeah.
are awaiting final judgment.
Yeah.
And for the righteous, not a bad place to be.
Yeah.
For the wicked, not a good place to be.
Yeah. When Jesus begins teaching, he starts using a word called Gehenna to talk about this final judgment of fire.
Where's that word come from?
It's from the Old Testament too,
Yeah.
which is wild. There's a valley. It's called the Valley of Hinnom, or the Valley of the Sons of Hinnom, Ben Hinnom. It's a valley outside of Jerusalem, and it is a place in the Old Testament that was used for human sacrifice to Molech. Okay. If you're reading through like Joshua, it's talked about there in 2 Kings. This is
The high places.
this is like but walked in the way is 2 Kings 16:3. Walked in the ways of the kings of Israel. He even sacrificed his son in the fire, imitating the detestable practices of the nations the Lord had dispossessed. And it's talking about in this valley. Later on, you find out that it's talking about this valley of, or Topheth is like the name of the site in the valley of Hinnom. Josiah, the good king who
Gets
shows
rid
up,
of it.
he does. He overthrows. He defiled Topheth,
Yeah.
which is in Ben Hinnom Valley. In the prophets, this valley of Ben Hinnom takes on like a place of judgment. It becomes this. It's like an idea. You know, they're writing these poems that's what the prophets are.
You know, sometimes words take on meaning beyond their original meaning. They start to mean more.
Yeah.
And this happens. So like Luther wrote a famous book. It's called The Babylonian Captivity of the Church.
Uh-huh.
Did the church go into Babylon?
Yeah.
No.
Here's another good one. Armageddon.
Armageddon.
Armageddon
right.
is
a valley.
It's a valley around
Megiddo.
Yeah, Megiddo, right?
Yeah.
It takes on a life of its own.
Yeah.
Now there's a movie that came out 20 years ago with what's his name about the asteroid, right?
Armageddon. Yeah,
Yeah.
It means the end of the world event.
It's an end of the world event, right?
Yeah.
It takes on a life of its own. It means something different.
Let's see. There's other Rome does this in the Bible too.
Yes.
The woman rides the beast in from the Rome. Babylon becomes synonymous with the throne from which like Satan rules.
Yeah.
They take on these bigger things.
Yeah. So
even your kids. I had a professor one time said he knew he was doing a good job discipling his kids when the school came out with a ruling that your shorts had to be below your knees, and his son came home and said, "Our principal is a pharaoh." He was like, "Oh." Because Pharaoh had become larger. It was like
it
a
takes on a life
tyrant.
of its own.
Yeah.
Tyrant.
So he was a pharaoh. He's like, oh yeah. So that's what's
Slavery,
happening.
yeah.
And so that's what happens with Gehenna.
That's right. So Jeremiah 7, this is in the middle of all of this it's becoming more than what it was. Therefore, Jeremiah 7:32. Therefore, look, the days are coming, the Lord's declaration, when this place will no longer be called Topheth and Ben Hinnom Valley, but Slaughter Valley. Topheth will become a cemetery because there will be no other burial place. So Isaiah talks about the same thing with the worm that won't ever die there, right? You get it in the intertestamental period between the Old Testament and New Testament. Esdras, Second Esdras, is a book that was written. It's not scripture, but it's helpful to understand kind of how this starts taking on the life of its own. The pit of torment shall appear, and opposite it shall be the place of rest. What's this sounding like?
Yeah.
And the furnace of hell shall be disclosed, and opposite it the paradise of delight. Sounds like this parable, right? Then the Most High will say to the nations that have been raised from the dead, look now and understand whom you've denied, whom you have not served, whose commandments you have despised. Look on this side and on that. Here are delight and rest, and there are fire and judgment and torments. Thus he will speak to them on the day of judgment. And so this is talking about this Gehenna place, right? Is this place of judgment, the last judgment.
And this is not the same as Sheol.
It's not. This is different. And Jesus doesn't talk about the same. This is a place of fire. In the CSB, for example, it is the word that is translated hell.
Yeah.
So in the New Testament,
which I think is right.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
This is
if you want to go into
it.
Synonymous, I think when whatever they're trying to convey with this idea of Gehenna is what is in the average person's brain when they think hell.
Final judgment.
Final judgment.
So Matthew 5. This is a Sermon on the Mount.
Yeah.
If your right eye causes you to sin, gouge it out and throw it away. For it is better that you lose one of the parts of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into
Gehenna,
hell.
Yeah.
Right, is how it's translated.
The Valley of Slaughter.
The Valley of Slaughter, yeah.
Where the worm doesn't die.
Yeah, here's another one. Don't fear those who kill the body, this is Jesus again, but are not able to kill the soul. Rather fear him who is able to destroy both soul and body in Gehenna, in hell.
And then you have to say, what does it mean, destroy?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So in James talks about it. The tongue is a fire. The tongue, a world of unrighteousness, is placed among our members. It stains the whole body, sets the course of life on fire,
and is itself set on fire by Gehenna.
By Gehenna.
Yeah.
And so Gehenna actually, I can't remember when this happens. It eventually is a burning trash heap.
Yeah.
Like it's where they go to burn trash.
I
can't remember when that happens.
I don't know.
I don't think it's not Old Testament times.
No, it's either when or whether. Like it's sort of like the whole eye of the needle thing, and some people are like, oh, there was this gate called the Needle, and it's like, wait a minute.
So
no,
it might not have ever been.
Not have ever been a burning trash heap.
But it is that theologically. Though.
Yes.
Yeah, theologically is that. Yeah.
It is. I think if you go back to Jeremiah, you kind of get the grasp of the vividness of it, and Josiah, how to God, how abhorrent the valley of Sinom or Gehenna was. Gehenna, it turns Greek, right? You know, so this was a place where they sacrificed children.
Yep.
Through their so they had a high place.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I bring it to Topheth. They're murdering their children up there and throwing their bones into the valley. Mm-hmm. It's horrible. God hates it.
It's a terrible place.
Horrible place. And it becomes, and God basically says, I'm going to do you like this.
Yeah.
This is how you're going to be judged. You're going to be thrown into the valley of slaughter. I'm going to slaughter you.
Yeah. You're going to be the sacrifice.
And Jeremiah's like, you are going to suffer here forever where the worm doesn't die. And Isaiah too.
Yeah. Isaiah
and Jesus picks up on it.
Yeah.
And he says that poke out your eyeball so that the rest of your body won't go into the valley of slaughter to get Gehenna.
That's right. Yeah. let me see if there's any more of the good ones. Yeah, you get cut off the hand, so it's not thrown in. Yeah, that's pretty much that's the usage right there of the Gehenna. Now, in the other bucket of words is just the lake of fire or fire stuff in general, and Gehenna's not mentioned or hell's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
mentioned. And so Jesus also does this, right? So Matthew 25, then verse 41, then he will also say to those on the left, depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even talking about people, like or the place for people. Those people are put in there, but it's for the devil and angels, and that's what happens in Revelation 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we know this is talking about the lake of fire. And then you have the Revelation passage, which is 20:10. The devil who deceived them was thrown into the lake of fire and sulfur, where the beast and the false prophet are, and they will be tormented day and night forever and ever.
Mm-hmm.
The beast is thrown in there.
Doesn't it continue to say, and the smoke of their torment?
That's earlier. That's 14.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's Revelation 14. Let me find that passage. What's that passage? Revelation 14. I think it's towards the end. Smoke of their torment. Yeah, 14:9 through 11 says this. And a third angel, followed them and spoke with a loud voice. If anyone worships the beast and its image and receives a mark on his forehead or on his hand, he will also drink the wine of God's wrath, which is poured full strength into the cup of his anger. He will be tormented with fire and sulfur in the sight of the holy angels and in the sight of the Lamb, and the smoke of their torment will go up forever and ever. There is no rest, day or night, for those who worship the beast and its image, or anyone who receives the mark of its name. Yeah, so you have the smoke of the fire on them. And
it also is in Revelation 19:3 when Babylon the Great is fallen. Everyone says for a second time, "Hallelujah!" Her smoke ascends forever and ever.
Yeah. And so you have this idea of this some kind of fire. It's a lake of fire. It's a pit of fire. It's fire. It's hot and it's burning stuff. It's
you get the same imagery in Genesis 19 when God burns Sodom and Gomorrah to the ground.
That's right.
It says that the smoke ascends into heaven, and Abraham looked out and could see the smoke rising up.
Yeah, that's right. And so this is the lake of fire. This is final judgment. And so if you map out the time, like I don't know, like a time scale thing, you're like, how does eternity work based on what we know from the Bible? You have your life here on earth, you're born, died. There's a time of holding for those who are dead without Christ in a place called Sheol, Hades,
and a place of holding for the people who are dead in Christ.
Yeah,
that's a different spot.
Yeah, no, we're going to talk about that next week. I didn't want to give anything away.
Yeah.
And so you have this holding place for the people who are dead without Christ, in their sins, and then eventually, when the Lord returns and resurrects,
yes,
and everyone's resurrected into judgment.
Yes,
they are thrown into
the lake
of fire.
Yeah.
And so that's what happens at the end of
second death. It's called.
That's what happens at the end of Revelation 20. It says that verse 14, death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire. This is the second death, the lake of fire. And so Hades itself in the grave and everyone held in that state is thrown into the lake of fire. And so this is the final state.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how, if you ever read a theology book, super boring, you might be interested in it.
Yeah.
But if you're into it and you want to read a theology book,
or you could just listen to this podcast.
You could just listen to this. That's what they talk about. This idea called the final state.
Yeah.
Eternal things. And that is what
the final state as we know it now.
Yeah, that's right. As
we got 1 billion years
or
something. We don't know what's next.
That's right.
Further up and further in.
Sheol and Hades, though, isn't that.
No.
It's a holding time. It's a waiting room for that. And the final state for the wicked, apart from Christ, is this lake of fire and judgment. Okay, does it make sense? You think that makes sense?
Yeah, I think
Let
so.
me see if I have any more passages we should read for that.
But even in the end, even in the final state,
Mm-hmm.
the smoke of their torment ascends to the throne forever and ever, and the smoke of Babylon the Great ascends forever and ever. Meaning, it's still visible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also in Revelation, we have this idea of being cast outside the city of God, outside of the New Jerusalem.
So let's describe it now. Now we've seen the words. Now let's talk
Yeah.
about the descriptors. So you have the visibility of it, right?
Yes.
And that you
And-
see that in first, whatever glimpse we get in Luke 16 on the parable, you get a glimpse of its visibility. Right, right. This is whatever kind of torment this is. It's not. It's not like cast off to where it's unseen for eternity.
Yeah.
Right. By, I guess, God and angels and whoever, I don't know, would like to look at it.
Well, okay. So smoke of their torment ascending before God and the Lamb forever and ever. It's you might get the image like, oh, it's like a burning city. No, the imagery they're calling back to is sacrificial image. The smoke of the sacrifices that were a pleasing aroma to God.
Yeah.
And so what this means, what?
Yeah.
God is rejoicing over the judgment of the wicked? Yes.
Yes.
It is symbolic of justice being done.
Yeah, that's
Forever justice will be done upon them.
And that is what fire mostly represents
The
in the
purging,
scripture.
yeah.
It is justice, purging justice, that that wipes out evil and leaves things clean. That's why Sodom and Gomorrah wiped away, right? And the image of when Isaiah goes up to the throne room in Isaiah 6, and what is put to his lips, a
Hot
burning coal, right? And because I'm a man of unclean lips, right? I
Yep,
live
yep.
among people of unclean lips. And so he's cleansed through that. So the fire is like cleansing. You have like 1 Corinthians 3, that there.
Yes, the strange thing about judgment there.
Yeah.
Wow.
You want to look at that? Let's
Well, that's kind of a heaven thing almost, though.
Well, it's about like who's gonna make it.
Well, it's
right?
like what works will make it. It seems like
Yeah.
everybody makes it in this judgment, but you may go empty-handed, whatever that means.
Yeah. But fire is cleansing.
Fire
It's
is cleansing.
purging. It's
Your
purging.
works will
Yeah.
be tested by fire.
Yeah. And so that's the idea. So that's what fire is. And so the descriptors that we have of hell in the New Testament, you have like fire is one of them. But the caveat is that it is heavily imagery, right? It's heavily
Poetic,
poetic.
apocalyptic.
Yeah, it might not be literal in the sense that if you're
Flames.
Yeah, if you're thinking of just like a bonfire and people burning bonfire,
yeah.
that's, I would say, even probably not that.
Probably not.
Probably not that. And we'll talk about why in a few minutes. Let's talk about some of the other imagery things we get for this final judgment.
I mean, because just to help people, it doesn't mean people don't have this sensation of burning. You can pull a muscle in your back, and somebody might say, it feels like my back is on fire.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
But it's not literally on fire. It's just like that's the way we talk about the worst pain.
Yeah. So you have Matthew 13. Just as the weeds are this is a parable. Weeds are gathered and burned in the fire. So it will be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will gather from his kingdom all who cause sin and those guilty of lawlessness. They will throw them into the blazing furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone understands weeping. It's
Yeah.
crying. It's upsetting. What is gnashing of teeth, though?
It is like gritting your teeth, like
It's anger.
anger.
It's-
Gnashing your teeth is anger, like rage.
It's rage, and this is one of those funny things. Like it's lost its meaning over time.
Yeah.
We don't say gnashing of teeth.
No.
Like gnashing, to a lot of people, it's to gnash something, right? like animals might gnash their teeth or something and like take a chomp out of you or something.
It's not far. You might think of a wolf growling at
Yeah.
somebody. That's what.
But that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's growling rage.
It's like when you slam your thumb with the hammer and you go, "Ah, ah," and you start throwing stuff around your shop.
But less about the pain and more about the anger.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And so that's a depiction that these are angry people.
They feel like they've been treated unjustly.
Yeah, that's right.
They're mad that they didn't get to be God, or that they were allowed to be. In The Great Divorce, in the preface, your favorite guy, C.S. Lewis, said there's two ways this ends up. People who say to God, "Thy will be done," and people to whom God says, "Thy will be done."
That's right.
You don't want to be in that second group.
Yeah, they're angry that God allowed them to be God.
Yeah,
right.
Of their own domain.
Of their own domain. And because what did it get them? Like it's a miserable existence.
Miserable.
And I like what C.S. Lewis did. I mean, if you read The Great Divorce, it's a fiction novel, right? It's a short little novel. It's great. You should read it, by C.S. Lewis. But it describes hell as this place. It's an ever expanding suburb where people constantly move further away from each other because they can't stand each other.
Yeah.
They're just so bitter and
there's no love.
There's no love.
He also describes it as a constant downward spiral into selfishness.
Yes.
Constant. Like they forever spiral further away from God.
Yeah.
And he describes heaven as a continual spiral towards God and love. You're drawn further up and further in, as they say.
Yeah, exactly.
Narnia.
Yeah. C.S. Lewis thought about this a lot. He did a good job with it. And he gets it from Romans 1 to be given over to your, like the wrath of God in Romans 1 is to be given over. And it says it 3 times. You're given over to your sins. Whatever you want, fine, is what God says. And Jesus talks about hell in imagery, mostly. Paul talked about it in more literal terms like that. That's like, and so if you're in like the literal minded, like that is a powerful depiction of what hell is. It's to be given over to eternal selfishness. Yeah. Which is its own, that like it, and that isn't that God's like judgment always, like, it's to be,
you've known people who are living their own little microcosm of hell.
That's right. That they made.
It's the type of person who is bitter.
Yep.
They blame everybody else but themselves for whatever occurs in their life.
Yep.
Even when something good happens, it could have been better, or it should have been. There is no pleasing them.
Yeah.
And that is, when you see that in someone, they're already starting down that spiral to hell.
They're living out their eternity now.
Yes, it's just going to get worse.
That's right, and it is their eternal state is breaking.
And then
right
somebody else on the other end who maybe has been through tremendous suffering and even injustice, and always has a optimistic and grateful attitude and a hope.
Yeah,
and it could have been, instead of saying it could have been better, they're like, it could have been worse.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of...
They're living out heaven.
Heaven. Yeah.
Right now. You know, it's their future is being
at least the attitude of it.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's the Holy Spirit is what that is. And so that's some of the depictions that are given. There's more depictions. You have like the worm that will never die, right? Because it's always eaten, right? It's like always eating the dead flesh and stuff.
Yes.
You know, it's like a depiction of maggots and stuff. Sulfur. The Revelation 21 is kind of interesting. So Revelation 21 starts with the new heaven, new earth, and the new Jerusalem, which is the people of God descending out of heaven.
Yeah.
And it's like, talk about like this city. The people are
tremendous city.
It's
1,000-mile long walls.
And outside of this city is
sorcerers.
Are the cowards, the faithless, detestable, murderers, sexually immoral, sorcerers, idolaters, and all liars. Their share will be in the lake of fire, that burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death. It says the same thing again, right?
Cowards.
Yeah. So Revelation 21:1. And so it's like this is sitting outside the city, right? So there you have that like visible idea again, right? That it's just sitting here, man. It's separate,
Mm-hmm.
um, and distinct. So that's the some of the imagery you have. Like, you have anything to add to that?
Uh, it ain't a place you want to be.
Yeah,
And it is a place of justice.
but it's a place. You know, have you ever heard like folks say stuff like, you know, I'm fine going to hell. At least all my friends will be there. You know,
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
stupid.
Oh, it's so
Those
gosh,
people aren't
so
your
foolish,
friends.
right? And their idea is that like hell sounds fun
Yeah.
because
Ugh.
these are the things I love. And actually, you would hate heaven.
Yeah.
Of course, like that fits. Actually, you're
Mhm.
actually speaking like a deep truth in your heart when you say stuff like that, because you would hate heaven.
Yeah, and the irony is they will hate those people there too,
Yeah,
because what they're doing is projecting.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
It's
like,
a sad state. People say that stuff all the time, man.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. And they don't even know the people.
They don't. No.
Yeah, it's just dumb. It's just an act of defiance to God.
Yeah. So let's sum some things up. We've gone about an hour. Let's put the pieces together of what hell is, and we'll talk about why for hell and the apologetics for it next week on the podcast. So put the whole thing together, Brad. What is hell? Define the terms for us.
So Sheol, and I would say Hades are a general bucket for where all the dead people go. I think in the parable of the rich man and Lazarus, we see that in Sheol, there are like two distinct holding areas. One is where Abraham's side or Abraham's bosom, and the other is this place of torment that the rich man is in. Both of these areas are waiting for final judgment, the resurrection. So then there's the resurrection of the just and the unjust. Everyone is judged. The wicked who were in that bad part of Sheol are cast into the lake of fire. The righteous go to their reward with Christ. Enter
Pull
the
the
joy
punch.
of your
Yeah,
master.
yeah.
So that's what hell is.
Yeah, yeah.
And so right now, there are people in torment, and all they have to look forward to is hell,
Yeah,
and they know it.
yeah.
And so do the demons. They say that.
Yeah, yeah.
When Jesus comes up on the man who has the legion,
Mhm.
right? And he says, "Have you come to torment us before the time?" Like they know they're going
Yeah.
somewhere, and he throws them in the pigs, and they run off in the ocean. Because pigs got more sense than people. But yeah, it's so that's how I understand the afterlife on the
Yeah.
negative side.
Yeah.
If you want to say it that way, that's what's happening. So there are people in torment now. It's going to be worse.
Yeah.
They're awaiting judgment.
Yeah, and the words for that are in the scriptures are lake of fire kind of stuff.
It's kind of
and
like if
Gehenna.
you do a felony and you get arrested by the Albertville police, you'll go to jail.
Yeah,
But you are going to sit in the jail until you go to federal prison.
yeah. Prison and jail aren't the same thing.
Not the same thing.
Yeah.
A jail, not so bad. Prison, yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of what Gehenna is. And then maybe next week when we talk about, theology or whatever, we can talk about purgatory, where that came from and why.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
You can kind of see it, though,
Yeah.
already in this idea of a holding place.
Yeah. That's right. All right,
And the
everyone.
purging.
The purging. Purgatory.
Purgatory is where you're
Purge.
purged.
Yeah. You hear the
That's
root
what they say.
word. Yep. All right, everyone. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. This podcast is kind of coming along with some different social media pages and stuff that we're doing. So please, we appreciate following along there so you can get the updates and see reels and, little videos and things that we're doing there. We will see you next time. Appreciate you.
See ya.